Right guys, we are back today with another tactic video, and it is one of the most popular shapes that you can get in Football Manager this year. We are talking a 4-3-3, and of course this comes from my tactical guru GYRFM. Now he's had a couple of goes at different styles of a 4-3-3, but using some of the more popular roles at the moment, this is probably the best one that I have seen him create thus far. Today we're going to break down the tactic, what makes it so good. We're going to show you some of the testing that we have done with the tactic as well. Then at the end of the video we will break things down and show you guys the exact roles and all the instructions that you're going to need to get this into your game so that you can be the master of puppets, which is what today's tactic is called. If you are new around here and you do like the tactic stuff, please do drop a like on today's video and subscribe if you are new, so that you can pick up all of the tactical content and all of the FM22 stuff that we are putting out over the course of the next few months. And also, whilst you're in the lower regions of today's video, please do drop into the description and check out GYRFM, the creator of today's tactic. The links to his Twitter, Twitch and his Discord will all be down there. So what makes this 4-3-3 so damn good? Let's break it down. Right then guys, so this is the 4-3-3, the master of puppets. We are going to break some stuff down here. This is in our Manchester City simulation. We are taking on Chelsea here at home, but I just wanted to break it down and show you guys what works so well in this tactic. So they're 1-0 down at this point in the simulation. We do simulate this by going on holiday for the entire season, so we're not in control, but it is nice to go back and take a look at what makes this tactic do so well. So you can see it's a hyper aggressive tactic. All of the Manchester City players, with the exception of Addons, are in the opposition half. Now what this tactic does do really well with the central midfield runners, I'm going to say they are runners.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Off the bat, there's the defensive midfielder who sits a little bit deeper, but there are definitely runners here. It creates some fantastic overloads. So as you can see here, Ruben Diaz has the ball, which of course N'Golo Kante is going to have to sort of press in this particular situation here. But they've got Havertz out here on the Chelsea right hand side. But look at this overlap and overload, sorry, that we've got happening here. We've got Jack Grealish, we've also got Raheem Sterling, and we've also got Aymeric Laporte, who I believe is playing fullback on this particular instance. This number is going to cause Chelsea some problems, and if the goal doesn't come, I can't remember where this goal comes from, but if it doesn't come from that left hand side, the entire Chelsea back line is going to have to start shifting across to deal with this threat. So as the attack progresses, the ball goes into Gabriel Jesus. You've still got the 3 versus 3 over here, but now we've created a little bit more space on the right hand side. So Gabriel Jesus has drawn the attention of number 6 here, the centre back, and Sol in the central midfield spot, but that also then frees up Kevin De Bruyne, who is now free to run and drive and burst into this penalty area. The ball doesn't come to KDB on this occasion though. It is recycled back out to the right hand side, but as Kyle Walker gets the ball here, you can see Bernardo Silva's away from the fullback. So if Ben Chilwell doesn't get this interception, Bernardo Silva's going to be away, and then you're going to have 3 Manchester City players. You've got De Bruyne, you've got Jesus, and you've got Raheem Sterling all ready for that cut-back goal. So Bernardo Silva doesn't get the ball on this occasion. It is recycled back, but you can kind of see, guys, where this tactic is trying to be dangerous. Mendy hits the ball long, and now we're back into the second phase, and you can kind of see how things are set up a little bit better here. So Stones is the right-hand side centre-back. We've got Kyle Walker ahead of him. Rodrigo is the base of that 3-man midfield. You've got Jack Grealish, Kevin De Bruyne is in loads of space, and then obviously you've got the 3 guys, Bernardo Silva, Gabriel Jesus, and Raheem Sterling up top. So we let the attack develop a little bit more. John Stones finds Bernardo Silva here, and Raheem Sterling coming in off that left-hand side is already well away from Chalobah. So all Bernardo Silva has to do is get this ball, hit that low cross along this sort of corridor of uncertainty here, and then you are goals in. Unfortunately, Chelsea are able to cut things back, but instead of going for the ball across, Bernardo Silva opts to drop the ball back to Gabriel Jesus, and Kevin De Bruyne is away from his runner. The ball comes in, the opportunity is created from those wide areas. Again, this tactic creates a lot in those wide areas, so you can see Kevin De Bruyne scored there. Again, we start the second goal of the game for Manchester City. Bernardo Silva is in this right-hand side again. Kevin De Bruyne is away from his man. He does have Saul next to him, but we're kind of going 1-for-1 here, which is a little bit of a problem for the Chelsea defence. We'll let the attack continue and develop. The ball comes over from Bernardo Silva. He kind of does overhit this cross, but Raheem Sterling keeps the attack live. The ball comes in, and Grealish again. These midfield runners, guys, are such an issue for the match engine. Grealish is in there, and he does slot at that near post. So even with a slight error of an overhit cross, it still does really well. Matching the shape up again, we've got the two centre-backs on the ball. Fernandinho is now on as the defence midfielder. We've still got Grealish. Bernardo Silva is in here. We've also got Kevin De Bruyne. They've changed and got Cole Palmer up top now and Raheem Sterling, and then Nathan Ake is out in the left back position. So Stones pushes it out to the right hand side to Kyle Walker, and then the overloads start to happen. So we've got Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne in this space here, so just a little ball pop round here would do a lot of damage. Kyle Walker goes to the byline, and the cross comes over, and this is where these inside forwards and inverted wingers and stuff, the combination that you will see later in the video, works really, really well. The ball comes across. You've got Bernardo Silva occupying this centre-back. You've got Kyle Palmer occupying this centre-back, and Raheem Sterling gets away, and he's able to score a Raheem Sterling-esque tap-in against his new club. Obviously, he is transferring to Chelsea as we speak. So you can see how the tactic works. It creates the space in those wide areas. So let's review some of the testing that we have done, starting off with this Man City team. Right, guys, I'm not going to beat around the bush. This is Man City. This is how they did get on in the season. 101 points for them in the Premier League. They also won the Champions League as well. They beat Real Madrid in that final. They won the Emirates FA Cup as well, beating Brentford in the final. So fair play to Brentford there. And they're knocked out in the third round of the Carabao Cup by Manchester United, but they did win the Community Shield. So it is a domestic treble with a Centurion season, is pretty darn good. In the Premier League for Man City, they did do pretty well. Only 2 draws and 3 defeats all away from home. 107 goals scored as well is not to be sniffed at. We did test this with a different team in the Premier League, so let's head into this Leeds United test. We know Manchester City are an elite tier team, so we always try and test things in the same sort of division with a different standard of team. In this particular simulation, Manchester City did win the title regardless. They didn't get 100 points, but we tested it with Leeds United, who finished up in 5th and have qualified for the Europa League. They finish above Manchester United and get themselves that Europa League spot. Only 3 points behind Arsenal and qualifying for a Champions League space. Finished in the 5th round, knocked out in the 5th round of the Emirates FA Cup, knocked out in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup by Manchester City. But if we expand this Premier League table, you can see Leeds have done very well here. 70 goals scored, 42 goals against. Leeds United, obviously, in this season, were a team that battled relegation. So this just goes to show how powerful a tactic this 4-3-3 can be. We did test this in the Championship as well. Let's head on over to Nottingham Forest. So Premier League new boys for the 2022-2023 season, we have Nottingham Forest. Now we did test this with them. Obviously they did finish in the playoffs in real life, but there are some fantastic teams in the Championship that you do have to kind of navigate your way past to get yourself promoted. They did finish with 105 points, very well clear of Sheffield United, who were the team in second, 7 points clear of them. Knocked out in the 5th round of the FA Cup by Manchester United, and knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup again by Chelsea. You can see this tactic works really, really well. If we expand the stages here, you can kind of see how well it has done. Another 100+ goal season, again, is very, very impressive. And 105 points in the Championship, again, not to be sniffed at. We have tested this in a couple of other countries as well. So first and foremost, let's head on over to Germany. So toppling Bayern Munich in Germany is a very difficult task, even with a team like RB Leipzig, which is who we tested it with here. Leipzig did manage to win the Bundesliga title and are a decent way away from Bayern Munich. Dortmund did finish in second, but Dortmund do have Haaland in this particular instance. RB Leipzig were knocked out in the first knockout round of the Champions League by PSG, but they did win a league and cup double, which is very, very impressive. In that cup final, beat Wolfsburg 2-0 and rather convincing in that league, especially over Bayern. I think you basically look to see if you can beat Bayern, and if you can beat Bayern, then you can kind of assume that you've won the league. I know in this instance Dortmund are in the middle, but another 86 goals scored and 25 goals conceded, despite being a 4-3-3 and it being a positive 4-3-3 as well. This tactic is pretty darn solid at keeping the ball out of the back of the net. We've got one more test before we get into the breakdown of this tactic, and that is with Jose Mourinho's Roma. So the final stop on this tour of the testing of this tactic is in Italy. Roma have managed to secure themselves a Serie A title, which is very, very impressive. They beat Inter, AC, Napoli, Juve, Lazio, all to that title. And they also did secure a Europa Conference League trophy as well. I know it's the Conference League, and I know Roma were in the final of this in real life. And then in this game, they beat Feyenoord in that final 3-2. And obviously, as you can see, the 4-3-3 working very, very nicely for them there. In terms of the league, they beat Inter to the title by 6 points. Again, very impressive. If we expand the stages here, 30 goals conceded, 97 goals scored for Roma. As I said, this is a monster of a tactic. We're just going to get into the breakdown now. If you are on PC or Mac, there will be a download link in the description, which you can go and check out, which will put you so you can go and download this tactic. Just put it into your tactics folder and import it easy as you like. If you are on Xbox or you are on another platform, please do stick with the video, because we're now going to go through and break down this tactic. So this is the GYRFM Master of Puppets. We're going to show you guys the roles now, and we are going to quick pick without restriction the best 11, so you can kind of see the sorts of players that work in this shape. So, in goal, we have Patricio, who is a sweeper keeper on support. Now, no additional instructions on this goalkeeper right here. Just leave them as a sweeper keeper on support. Then we move into the right back spot. There we have a wing back on support. There are some additional instructions on these guys, so if you do need to pause the video, please do so at any stage to make sure you get these instructions exactly correct. The additional instructions, for those of you who aren't aware, is the ones with the red circle and the white cog next to it. So the wing back on support comes with get further forward and run wide with the ball, and Gareth has added tackle harder, sit narrower, shoot less often, and dribble more. Now you can add these by going on to this edit button here and then selecting them here as you do here. So dribble more, shoot less, sit narrower, etc., tackle harder, etc., etc. On the other side of the field, we do have a wing back on attack. Now the additional instructions on this one are shoot less often, sit narrower, and tackle harder. Then we have two ball playing defenders in the middle of the back four. These two both have the same instructions on them, which are shoot less often, stay wider, and tackle harder as the additional instructions. Then take more risks and hold position as the two that come with the role. Then moving forward, it's not the point, is it? The base of the midfield three is a defensive midfielder on support duty with the additional instructions of dribble more, shoot less often, and tackle harder. Now we're moving up the field. Now we get into where all the magic happens and the midfield runners and all of that good stuff. So then we have a box-to-box midfielder here on support duty. The additional instructions on this box-to-box midfielder are take more risks, shoot less often, get further forward. This is where they start these midfield runs. Move into the channels and tackle harder. Then alongside them we have everybody's favorite role in this year's FM, which is the central midfielder on attack. They come with the instruction of get further forward, but they've added tackle harder and take more risks. Now, I did say that the wingers in this tactic get a lot of goals, and it does help if you have wingers with the opposite foot. So we saw in Man City, Raheem Sterling on the left-hand side with his right foot did really well. Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side with his left foot did really well. And you can see in this simulation here, we've got Zaniolo here on that right-hand side as the inverted winger with 23 goals. So let's start with him as an inverted winger on attack. Zaniolo has had the following instructions added to him: take more risks, shoot less often, sit narrower, and tackle harder. On the opposite flank, we've got an inside forward. This is where Sterling would ghost in at that far post and score tap in after tap in after tap in. The inside forward has the additional instructions of shoot less often, sit narrower, and tackle harder. Now up top we have Super Tammy here as an advanced forward on attack, obviously, and with the additional instructions of dribble more, shoot less, and tackle harder. Now the the kind of result of this is that maybe the centre forward doesn't get as many goals, but it definitely does bring everybody else into play with the shoot less often function. Tammy is the top goal scorer for the club here though, with 33 goals. It is a positive mentality. The tactical style, guys, if you just create a clean slate and follow all these steps, you'll get the exact style you want. It is a tiki-taka style though. In possession, there's actually hardly any instructions on this, which I'm actually quite liking. It's a very stripped back version of a tactic. So we've got the fairly wide attacking width. We are slightly shorter in terms of our passing directness, God, easy for me to say, and an extremely high tempo. We are also doing the low crosses in that final third. This is how you saw so many tap-ins at the far post and stuff like that. That Raheem Sterling goal that we broke down earlier. In transition, this is how we are looking. We are counter-pressing and we are countering once possession has been won. And the distribution type is to just roll it out. So it's either going to be rolled out to your centre-backs or your full-backs, but you're not going to go for the long bombs forward and stuff like that. In terms of out of possession, this is how we are looking. We have a higher line of engagement and a standard defensive line along with a standard defensive width. Then in terms of triggering the press, we are triggering the press much more often and we are preventing that short goalkeeper distribution. So that is the GYRFM Master of Puppets tactic. Let me know down in the comments if this is something that you would be running in your save and you like the 4-3-3, and if you feeling it, just chuck your favorite emoji down there and let me know what your favorite emoji is. It really does help the algorithm and help the video get out there to as many people as possible who could use this tactic. But if you are liking the tactical stuff but the 4-3-3 isn't for you, check out the playlist popping up here that will have all of my collaborations with the amazing GYRFM.